What was that reaction like getting the news that you are now going to be in the South Carolina Hall of Fame?
Um, when I first received the call, it took me a minute to process it. I'm like, Hall of Fame is big, it's somebody honoring you for your achievement. So, it was a big deal.
What does it take to become a Hall of Famer?
A lot of sacrifices. I'm gonna start with the sacrifices first because even when growing up, being a kid, sometimes you want to do things like normal, like your normal friends. But to be successful or to get to this point, there were a lot of things that I couldn't do that my normal friends would do. So I would say first the sacrifices, the dedication, the time you put into it, just the commitment and work ethic. It requires a different work ethic, being able to set yourself apart from the normal or the everybody else, and that's big.
Talk about your experiences. One of those obviously was your time at South Carolina. When you reminisce about that time, what memories come about?
My junior year, starting junior year, that was when it began to turn around. Then my senior year, make being the first team to make it to the Elite Eight, that was big, and that's one of my most fond memories of being there.
So the Elite Eight is kind of nothing now. I mean, it's just normal here in Don Staley's era. It's the Elite
Correct.
Eight, it's national championships. It all seems like that's just second nature for this team. What's it been like to sit back and watch this program grow into what it is now?
I'm just watching them evolve. Like you said, Don has done a really, really good job with recruitment, staff as well, because it takes a whole team. But they've done a really good job of reeling the girls in. I think the biggest thing I love to see is you have more people staying home, like you have Ashley right now. And you also have Malaysia. Just to see people from South Carolina stay home and play at their home school, I think, that's one of the biggest things that I love.
Now to see that it's like they had a handful of draftees this year. Is that something that when you were at South Carolina helping build a program, is that something you ever thought of? Like, yeah, this program's going to be something one day and they're going to have draft picks out the wazoo.
I have to be honest. I'm not going to say that I saw that coming. But being competitive, but playing in one of the best conferences, is always competitive day in and day out. So it's never a question of whether you could do it. But just putting the right pieces together, the right group of girls together to, make it happen.
In the Hall of Fame, that is forever. Your name is cemented into history forever. It's such a big deal. There's so many other players and people that are in those books, in those records. And we look at them and we think of something. They stand for something. When people look at your name now in this Hall of Fame, what do you hope that they think of?
Um, for one, I hope they remember, the time that I was there. I know the newer generation won't quite know me. But it says a lot, about my accomplishments. Even if you never even got a chance to see me play, it's like, hey, now I coach a group of kids and they're like, okay, Hall of Fame. So Shaun in the Hall of Fame, because they've never quite seen me play, as well as my nieces, my nephews, that play basketball as well. So I want them to look at me and say, hey, she had what it takes to make it there. She put in the words, the dedication. She accomplished big things. That's a big dream, and I want kids to look at it and say, hey, you know what, I want to be that one day.